Hello and welcome to Be Powerful with Liz and Lee. It's a new day and we're so glad you're here.
So you can expect to hear candid conversations on what it means to be powerful. Live authentically, live in the midst of ups and downs, productively, and above all else, joyfully.
We are so thankful for you, our community of listeners, and we hope you enjoy today's show. Hello there, Liz.
Hello there, Lee.
Hello there.
Wow.
Yeah, how you doing?
You missed your career
In.
answering the phone at the radio station.
Hi.
This is Lee. How may I help you?
This is Be Powerful with Lee and Liz. We're here to take your questions.
Do you know we really have to drop your voice down sometimes, don't we?
Oh, you mean like I was too high?
No, like you are such a professional. Like she's got the professional, answer the phone voice.
There it is.
You could answer the phone. Let's have the phones open and you could go, "Hi, this is Lee Cannelli at Be Powerful."
They just get to ask questions.
There you go.
And I get to answer.
Yeah,
I get to read the phone book.
Okay.
Well, that's good. Glad we're on the mic.
Yeah, glad to be
we're
back.
Visually recording this for YouTube. So reminder, if you are listening and would like to watch.
We're on YouTube
There
also.
it is.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so how are you? We've had a good day so far.
I'm great. You taught a great class this morning.
Why, thank you.
I mean, it was wicked. The core ball was out. I came in strong. I left like a wet noodle, and that means I had a great day. Great
I
morning.
love it. Good.
I
Thanks
showered.
for coming.
How do I look? I mean, I showered.
You look really good.
Yeah, I don't ever shower. I mean, until later. Until later in the day. But I thought,
Well, we'll do it for now.
Yeah.
We were laughing because right when we hit record the first time, the recorder died and needed new batteries. And so you got new batteries out. And I said, I mean, you're amazing. You always have a surplus of batteries. And you said, I should have been.
I should have been a Girl Scout. I mean, I should have been a Girl Scout. I'm always prepared. I have a book literally in the living room that says more is more. I have all the batteries in the world. End of the world coming. Call me.
Okay, so, but you weren't a Girl Scout.
No.
Why not?
My mother, my mother was like, your sister did that and I'm not putting up with it. I'm like, putting up with what? I just want the outfit. I want the green outfit with the sash, with the badges. She goes, no, we're not doing that. I went, how about the brownies? I mean, I wanted to just have an outfit, right?
Right.
No, instead she made me to go to GAs at church. But the Girl Scouts, I could have been a great Girl Scout.
That's a regret you have that you weren't
not
a Girl
a big
Scout.
regret, but I mean, I would have been naturally excelled
at
at it. Yes, I would have excelled at being a Girl Scout. So now I am.
I would agree.
Yeah.
What else? Okay, let's play this game to start. What else, as the baby of your family, did you get robbed of because of your status as the baby and your mom and dad were
Respect.
exhausted?
Are you kidding me? Respect. I mean, come on. The baby, I was the baby by 13 years and 5 years. They're like, oh, we have this child. Oh, wow. I used to leave the house at I don't know what time in the morning. Who knows? Whenever I woke up and went in and got my donut and headed out with my friends. I mean, literally as an 8, 9-year-old. And they would call me home for dinner. I mean, with their mouths. You don't have phones. They're just yelling through the neighborhood, Liz, dinner. And that's the only time I ever went home.
Okay, what's that got to do with respect?
Respect.
What?
I mean, I don't know. They're just I don't. They don't care. They don't care where you are. You're just out. And then it's almost like an afterthought. Oh, we have this other child. Mm-hmm. She's out. She's out somewhere. Let's get her in here.
But what else weren't you allowed to do? Anything
I was
else
allowed
like
to do
that?
anything. Yeah.
No, so you weren't a Girl Scout. Was there a sport you wanted to play? They were just we don't have time.
Oh, I could play basketball because we had a basketball goal and my brother and his friends were playing basketball. So that's why I got good at basketball.
Okay.
But I had to really force my way into dance. All I really wanted to take was acrobatics, which they call acro now. Mm-hmm. And so I had to force my way into that. But basically, again, it was about the outfit. I wanted the costumes, okay? And so I got myself in that, got 4 years under my belt. Soon as I was going into 5th grade, my mother goes, that's done.
Okay.
I'm done with driving you to ballet and tap. You're done.
And that was that.
Yeah. As long as I could get myself where I needed to be, I could go, which is one of the reasons we have these really civil conversations about how often you are in the car driving your children all day long. And it blows my mind.
Because your mom didn't do it and I
No,
did.
heck
And so
no.
you're very judgy about it.
I am judgy about it. I fully admit that. Plus, if you talk to Clary, I didn't drive her around all the places.
Mm-hmm.
She played whatever sport, basketball. She played volleyball, whatever. It was at Country Day, and she was already at school. I just had to pick her up in the afternoon, right? They took buses to games. Now y'all like drive them around. It's crazy.
We really do.
You really do. But I know we're preaching to the choir because everybody listening to this podcast with children is probably in their car right now listening to this podcast on their way to a soccer game.
Well, I just don't
I got respect for that, by the way. I'm not dissing you, right? Even though it sounds like it.
I mean, it's like we all agree it's wild and crazy, but we all do it anyway. So we're all on.
I don't know why you do it. You're just trying to follow the crowd. Stop following the crowd. Be yourself.
No, that's different. That's different.
Nah, it's not different.
My kids enjoy the sports. And
well, good. They can get a ride.
Out of trouble.
Get a ride.
We do. We have carpools, but still, it's a lot.
Yeah, good for y'all. I'm really impressed with parents, I think.
What would have been your best badge as a Girl Scout?
Definitely whatever's probably rock climbing or something.
What?
Don't think I have no idea. What are the badges?
I don't know.
I've not been great at the sewing part. I think you had all the. I have no idea what the badges are.
Well, that's true.
Mine would have been like doing things, like building a fort. I would have been a great fort builder.
That's good.
I would have been good at piling up the rocks to throw against the heathens that were trying to,
oh wow, we
make it over our walls.
Like medieval times with Girl Scout. Everybody's getting like a glimpse into the depth of your brain, and it's very fascinating.
Well, can I get one more thing with the Girl Scouts? And I know nothing about the Girl Scouts, except I read recently that the Girl Scouts are kind of trying to be in the Boy Scouts.
I don't know. We'll have to research that.
We have to research that. But if they are, why do they want to be in the Boy Scouts? They've already got the Girl Scouts and the outfits.
Is that another equality thing?
I think it might be, which is no worries there. We're all about equality.
Sure, but
I don't know.
I always kind of struggle with the overarching trying to make everybody equal when, like, we're all not as individuals, as separate sexes. We're never going to be exactly the same. And I don't mean equal, but
we don't want to be the same. We want to be respected.
Respected equally, like given the same.
So maybe the Girl Scouts don't feel respected.
We're going to have to look into this.
We will. Let's not. We probably don't need to talk about them because we don't know anything about it. No. However, speaking about equal time, I have enjoyed watching the NCAA March Madness tournament and the championship and all that, and the commercials from, and I'll shout them out, Buick.
Oh yeah,
have been about, and they'll play a clip from like a swim meet or some other sporting event of women and go, "We bet you didn't hear this, but this girl won the national championship, and we at Buick are going to support women's sports." And I really love that. Mm-hmm. And speaking of the shout out, how about University of South Carolina women's basketball just winning the national championship?
Yeah, our Tar Heels fell a little short, but they did a great job.
Yes, they did.
And we're going to be there again.
Yes,
Hubert Davis is my love.
He really?
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved him.
I know. I like him too. He's good.
According to Wikipedia, we're from the same hometown. His birthday's 2 days before mine.
You all are like soulmates.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
And when I was middle school, high school.
We should get him on the podcast because of that.
Great point.
Yeah.
We're going to do this.
All right, we're going to do this.
Okay, we got that.
Look forward to that.
In middle school and high school, when I knew I wanted to go to Chapel Hill and was into watching basketball, that was his heyday. And it was just, he's so
And he played
great.
for Dean. And I just got to say one more thing about him. To me, watching him during the tournament that just happened, it was like the second coming of Dean Smith, but with a whole lot more energy. I mean, I really felt the Dean effect in his coaching.
Interesting.
I just loved it. I thought it was great. So,
well, and to bring all of this randomness together, I'd like to shout out my college friends because we've been on a rampant text chain, and we call each other, there's 12 of us, and we sadly but awesomely call each other the Dirty Dozen. We definitely
real original
dressed up as Girl Scouts, one of our Halloweens at Chapel Hill.
Wow.
And I cannot talk to you about the outfits or what was involved. That is a secret. but it was a good time, and I would just like to shout them all out to
And
come
so-
full circle
and so-
about
since
Girl
we're-
Scouts and UNC.
Okay, exactly. And you were the president of KD, right?
That was by default.
Whatever she was. So
Thanks,
that's
Lindsay.
good. That's good. We're proud of you, Lee.
Thanks so much.
I'm not going to tell you what KD stands for.
Kappa Delta, and that is all.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you what it stands, but I'm not. Okay, we can. y'all
Everybody
can
has
call
stereotypes,
me.
and
I'll
we
tell
are
you
not
what it
going
really
to feed
stands
them.
for.
All right. Well, we fully digress.
Yeah.
Now we are.
That's our best part.
I know.
We have some serious material. We came on with serious material today. Why is that? Because we were talking about change last time.
Yeah, last week we were.
Yeah.
And, the month that we're in currently, it's April. It is spring. Everything outside looks fresh and vibrant and
does.
new and beautiful. And, everybody's sneezing with the pollen. We just moved from COVID to allergies and it's all good. But it made me think about like rebirth popped into my head. Just about
Well, it's
this
Easter time.
season.
It's springtime. It's traditionally all kinds of rebirthing celebrations during this time of year. So that's where we were thinking.
Right. And how we as humans are generally born into this body and soul that gets nurtured along the way and grows within a cultural environment that begins to define who you are.
Right.
And so it's kind of that give and take of how were we defined, and at what point do we begin to define ourselves and or redefine ourselves, and at what point a rebirth of ourselves is kind of needed in order to get there.
Deep question. And
thought.
exactly what we wanted to talk about. Like, who defines you? Were you born believing that, women should not be with women and men should not be with men? Or were you taught that? Where do we get our belief system? And one thing I've learned being around, everybody knows this, children, before they're taught, they don't have any interest or clue or judgment on love. We're just going to talk about that for a sec. If they see a gay couple or, even anybody, trans, anybody.
Right.
It's just a human being a human. And so you're taught that. And
Right.
so we recently had an incident where there was some, children saying things to somebody we know and talking about, us being lesbians. That was,
Right.
And I was like, that doesn't seem like a child thing to say.
To
That
say.
seems like an adult thing that a child has learned from an adult. So I don't think you've ever
And then
punished the child here.
Right. And the impression that is a negative.
Thanks. Right.
Right. So it's the language that we hear, and then the stereotypes that go along with the image of what that is. I was talking with someone recently about they were having frustrations with their school. I think everybody's dealing with this if we kind of don't have to get into it, but like Florida schools saying, don't say gay.
Don't say gay. I mean, the bill is basically saying that between the ages of whatever, when you start
Kindergarten, I
school
think third
to
grade.
third grade, you may not discuss sexuality. And this is now in law in Florida, in the state of Florida, which I disagree with so vehemently because children at that age, many children are questioning who they are, especially if they're little transsexuals or if they don't identify or feel normal in a boy's body or a girl's body. And that would only really harm them psychologically. And I think the thinking on the side of the people that said, but we're not going to have that discussed, is that they somehow believe that adults influence children into thinking who they should be, which is true.
Right.
But it's also not allowing that individual curiosity of, I don't really want to play with a Barbie doll. I'd rather, race car, whatever that little tomboy girl is thinking, or the little boy that wants to dress up in dresses. Like, that's telling him he's wrong, or at least he's telling me, don't talk about it.
Talk about it. Okay. So that's the difference. That aside, I'm going to play a little bit on the other side of the fence.
Please do,
on
because
this.
there's
And
always that.
probably not to that specific bill, but I think I brought it up to say it is kind of in the air, these types of bills and discussions at schools and communities, this almost over focus on defining and labeling. So I have a real hard time finding the balance between let people be who they are and those feelings are accepted by everyone versus we're going to spend a whole lot of time and a whole lot of curriculum making sure we all understand that this person is XYZ and this person is color red, orange, yellow. And it almost, to me, creates more boundaries in the mind of a child, which I don't think is right. I don't personally think that's healthy. It's almost like we as adults are creating more differences,
limitations
for our children to see, oh, we're all really different. And then there's the slippery slope of therefore in a hierarchy of better or worse, when I think children sometimes don't even recognize that as what makes us different. We're all humans.
Exactly.
And they might just be like, oh, that person is the color brown.
They're taking a child's natural curiosity and squelching it. And we, at some point in all of our lives, our curiosity was squelched. And I think it's our job, and I'm jumping a little bit ahead, but I want to go back to that, because I think our job as human beings, especially the more grown up we become, is to try to grasp that curiosity that I don't care who you are, has been beat out of you, whether it, any way, shape, or form, whether it's a teacher, a parent, or a mentor, has said, no, this is the way of the world. Do not do this because it's wrong or it's unnatural. And I think children have a real natural curiosity about everything.
And who they are innately before we just implode them with lots of different labels and
so it's yet again another reason I don't want to go to Florida anymore.
Okay. You're back on that. And that was not the direct. That was just an example. Yeah. And really, I feel like in a way, adults are overcompensating.
Overcompensating?
Yeah. I think there's this extreme focus on diversity and equality and inclusion that to a point isn't natural.
What terrifies parents.
Right.
It's called fear. Once again, the crux of the matter is fear. I do not trust a 3-year-old not to run out in traffic. So I'm going to make sure that 3-year-old is holding my hand and is not getting near the traffic. But I'm going to trust a 3-year-old to explore their body, ask me any question. Just I've always said, just answer a question of a child. They want to know, why is that man with that woman? How did that baby come? Answer the question.
Right.
Don't go into, and him and Hall. I mean, I just think the parenting aspect of being with children is such an educational also aspect for the parent. It's their memory of being so curious about how life works and allowing children to explore and make their own decisions on things that will not harm them. I think the problem comes when parents decide that if little Tommy wants to dress like little Jane, then that will harm him.
Yeah.
I just
and you're saying right, because they're acting out of a fearful place that child will either be bullied or it will embarrass the parent.
I think I think it's all about the fear of not fitting into society. And again, who defines you? Does what other people think of you define you?
For a lot of people, yes.
Well, I would say for the vast majority. And I think every single day we all think about it. We might think we are beyond that. I think when you and I came out and became homosexual people after being a lifetime of heterosexual, that was a massive upheaval and shift and fear for all of us. And one of, I would say, our greatest behind the fact that we would hurt our families was that we would not be accepted. And it is very important that everyone is accepted. Yeah. That's our natural, it's our natural thing is to be accepted by someone.
Right. That we want love and acceptance no matter what it looks at.
And so going back to kids, they just need to be accepted for their curiosity. And
I
we
like
need to
that.
calm down because we're the ones that lost the curiosity. And you
Right.
find the people in the world that are so creative and so the billionaires, like the guys flying into space, these are people that are curious. You lose your curiosity and you can't be creative.
Right. And we've talked about how that breeds such a sense of dissatisfaction and getting kind of stuck in your life and your routines. And it's very hard to redefine yourself if you're
Where
not
are you
even
feeling-
thinking about it.
Are you feeling stuck anywhere?
No, I'm not. I mean,
No, I just wonder. I mean,
good question.
Yeah.
No, currently, no. I mean, I certainly have in different levels before because we do the linear life path of raising children and meeting their needs and going to work and that can get repetitive and mundane. I mean, a lot of life is very
make them get a ride. It won't be so
do
mundane.
the dishes, do the dishes, make the bed, put your life together and then go out into the world. And I'm not at a stuck
Or
point.
how about you're just curious about doing the dishes? I'm trying to do things like that.
Are
okay?
you?
No, I am.
Okay.
Okay. Have you ever heard of Eckhart Tolle? Yes, you have.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I know. I'm just throwing that out there because one thing I gleaned from listening to some of his seminars and things, and he's a really high thinking spiritual leader person, is the great things come from the small things. So, enjoy every dish you put in the dish. Really pay attention to that.
No, I agree with you. I'm bringing awareness to, I think that's what causes a lot of dissatisfaction within people is not letting, the small joys of life even enter.
I think it's going to annoy you if you're not in a good relationship. I'm sorry, I went right.
What are you talking about? Like we're jumping.
No, we are jumping.
Okay.
And the reason I said
I was trying to set it up as I think it's very easy in this linear lifestyle of our society to get stuck. But to your point, being curious helps breed more joy and enjoyment of life no matter what it is you're doing. And so that moves to the more important levels, not day-to-day stuff, of relationships.
right. Which is I think the crux of the matter is the relationship with it's not just with other people, of course, it's the relationship with yourself. If you're impatient with yourself, you're like, oh, I've just got to go drive this carpool one more day. I've got to go do the dishes. I got to make 1,000 meals. I mean, you look you scroll Instagram, which we all do way too much, especially me. And it's like somebody said the other day, being an adult is just really overblown. It's like you just do the dishes the rest of your life and figure out what to cook, right? But also, if you really enjoy cooking or you enjoyed the person or the people you're around or the relationships, maybe your children or your people that you love, those things become not so mundane.
Exactly right.
So
it's that squashing of curiosity that we do to our children by accident.
Do you think we
that
do
end
it
up
to ourselves?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, because I should be doing. And I went through a thing yesterday. Wow. Let's just bring it up.
Good. I'm always the one having the meltdown. So
I had a meltdown.
go right ahead and share.
I felt like I wasn't getting anything done because I wasn't doing the big thing. Like my life is now really kind of following my dreams, following my thought process. And so when I do it, I am impatient. We all know that. And I want it to be done quickly.
When you want it done.
Quickly. And everything I did took all day long. I mean, I even tried to download a podcast for our new producer, and it took 4 hours for me to do it. I was ready to rip the walls down when you walked in the door.
I know.
So instead, I ripped you down.
Indeed, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. It's
that's
easy to get stuck and caught, and you're usually not
I had a moment.
the victim of that feeling, but you did because you're human.
Well, but also I always say to you and to everybody I talk to, or me, when I talk to me, my anger or my frustration is my choice. And when you and I sat down and talked about my anger and my frustration, which I had a boatload of both going on yesterday, lots of that. I just admitted, I went, this was my choice. I wallowed in it, And I enjoyed it in that really sick way.
Yeah, you said
know, that really sick
it.
way that you enjoy being miserable. And I went, this is becoming really miserable. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So we got through it.
You have to get to that point where you're almost banging your head against the wall and having a little bit of an out of body experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has got to stop.
Yeah.
And I think that's just the perfect example when you're in relationships that people have a lot of responsibilities in different ways and levels. And you are at a point where you're smoothly running a business, but you have higher level dreams and wishes that you want accomplished. And if I'm in the weeds running a carpool or doing a schedule,
which I also sort of put you down in that I was like, where have you been?
Right. Not like
running a
even
carpool.
though those things aren't valuable to you, they are to me at the time.
First of all, that's called bullying. That was not nice, and I admit it.
But you were frustrated, and that's okay. And we could talk it out.
This is why we get along.
I know.
So we did talk it out. I mean,
and I think that's important. I mean, that awareness in that give and take of a relationship to understand what the other person's going through and not what they're doing to you, because it's not unintentional, but it's usually for another reason. It's not about
It's never
you.
about you. What I was saying to you, and thank God, everybody needs a partner that understands that. That if somebody loses their temper, it's never about you. I don't care what you've actually done. It's never, ever, ever about you. It's about them losing their shit, unable to discern what's important and to rather lash out at the one person you love instead of doing the breathing, taking a breath. And I always say, write it down. I wasn't going to write it down. I couldn't wait to walk through the door so I could throw it right in your face.
And to be clear, you were
terrible.
a little fiery, losing your temper. There's some levels of that are certainly unacceptable, which is not what you did. So
No, I didn't.
We're not
I
saying
did not
that,
lose my temper.
that's acceptable.
I
But
threw my weight around.
and all is well.
Yes. So anyway, we got way off on childhood curiosity. Who defines you? So
How did you define yourself, and how were you defined in your youth?
well,
What did it look like?
it's fascinating. I was defined by, I think, how athletic I was, or how well I did in the physical athletic field, but also was being defined. And again, I think I was defined by myself too. But I really enjoyed the accolades that I received from that. And I think we're all drawn to, like, you were the linguist and the speller and the academic, and you were really drawn to that, that nurturing and that patting on the back and those rewards that you received when you did a good job with your grades. I could do a bad job with my grades and win a basketball team and score 25 points, and nobody worried about it,
Right.
Because everybody was like, "Yay!" That's great. So, but again, I was defined by my actions, and I also believed what other people thought of me.
Of course.
And that's when you're young. But when is it? Do you make that change? It's totally acceptable when you're young, because you're learning, and the good adults around you will tell you you're more than what your grades are, or you're more than what your athletic ability or your dance ability or whatever it is you do.
Right.
But at some point as an adult, and I'm not sure where that comes, but I wish it'd come earlier for me, but it came later, was I decided to define myself and decided that as much as I need community, I was more important, and that I had the courage to redefine myself. And I had faith, no knowledge, faith that I would find community. And
I like that.
That's bravery, I think.
I know. I was going to say, I think, in my opinion, of not knowing you then, but who you are today and hearing you speak, you always had a good sense of self your whole life. I mean, and certainly some things that occurred to you brought out that more in a positive way, and some made you feel less than. But I think you've always had a sense of self. And I think for me, it took me a longer time to develop a sense of self. To your point about accolades, approval, I mean, that was really the path that I took. So it was putting myself in a mold that I didn't really know
I think
who
you're
I
also
was.
put in a mold and you accepted that.
Yeah, because it felt good.
Yeah.
It felt good. It felt good to have approval and praise for simple things.
So speak to, I think there's a lot of people like you. I think there and that really rely on the accomplishments and the praise. And I'm in that group. Everybody's in that group. But with your specific situation, speak to how you had the courage to redefine yourself and have the faith that you would survive it.
Right. I mean, I think there's not a good girl and a bad girl. There's just not, but I've always felt like a good girl.
Well, then I'm the opposite.
Right. Exactly. But
that.
that meant behaving in certain ways that were natural to me. I mean, I wasn't faking it along the way, but I was just doing, and y'all have heard this on the podcast before, the next right thing. And really to the point of the question, where did the courage come to begin to redefine yourself? And I really just think it's with age. And for me, having children, there's the lisp.
It's the, what's it called? What are they called?
Invisalign.
Invisalign.
I don't want to bring attention to
know
it. Stop.
how much fun
Stop.
this line is for me.
Stop
Anyway,
it.
keep going.
Okay, so the courage to look at having a son and a daughter and realize that I think them being very different from one another helped me see we're all born and pop out as our unique individuals, and that unique individuality should be what I'm nurturing as a parent and not you need to follow my rules. So that's just how I felt as a parent, because I think I was just frankly shocked to have a boy. I have one sister. I didn't know about boys.
And he is so much
Clearly,
like you.
I
It's
just
so funny.
don't know anything about boys like women. But he is very different than when my daughter popped out. And I'm like, wow, okay, I have a boy and a girl. And that's just different. I have a first child and a second child. And for me, that's where I'm curiosity about birth order and all these things. And I just wanted to be an example to them of listening to yourself and letting them know that, I love exactly who they are, how they are. So why can't I love myself that way?
Right. And if any parent can love themselves 1,000th as much as they love their children, then they're going to really love themselves, because you don't love anybody more than you love your children, right?
Right. Right. And it's interesting. I wonder, of course I redefined myself, but did I change because I got older and saw the world differently? That's just experience and evolution. Or did I really break some tight glass mold and shatter it? I think the former. I think I'm still the root of myself, but just was able to spread my wings a little bit more.
You also didn't do it all in one fell swoop. None of us
Sure.
do. And I think that's what I'd like to say on this podcast. So for listeners, it's not that you do one big thing and then you're done.
Yeah.
You're redefining yourself every time you breathe. You can redefine yourself with your thought. A thought can become an idea. An idea can become an action. And it might take a really long time. But if you find something that really is a passion and you think, how am I possibly, could I do that? Or how is that possibly who I am?
I love that.
You can just sit with it. You don't have to do anything real fast with anything. You can just be with the thought for a while, and then the thought becomes an idea and then becomes an action.
Right.
And so whereas it may feel like, I was always supposed to be where you're sitting right now, and maybe you were, but that wasn't a real quick thing. This was probably from the time you were a small child, just, I always say respect those things when you think, wonder if.
Yeah.
When you always say, especially as a kid, mine was always, wonder if I could fly.
I love that.
Wonder if. Just hold on to those.
I wonder if I studied more.
Mine was just like, wonder if I left, how long would they know
No,
I
was
wasn't
gone.
Because I had such freedom, right, when I was a little kid.
Mine was, I probably need to tell Mom I'm using the restroom now because everybody needs to know where I am at all times.
So opposite, because I'm the
know.
one that showed up at church with no panties on. And my mother goes, Pete, my brother, go out. And she's got her teeth gritted. I mean, she's Mrs. First Baptist Church of Concord, North Carolina, wearing a hat out to 5 feet off of her head. And she go, Pete, you get her home and you get her panties on and you get back to this church right now. And you should have seen the way she would talk. Because I was just this wild child. I'm like, I'm not wearing these panties. She would make those ruffle, the ruffly
Why do you
ones.
say that?
What?
I don't use that word.
What?
I say underpants.
Panties.
Oh, stop it. Okay, anyway.
What's wrong with panties?
You had the ruffly ones?
Yes, the cotton.
Yeah.
Ugh. Do you remember those? I was like 4. I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
Children still wear them, right? Mm-hmm. And some of them put
Usually like those diaper covers.
They also put their initials on their bottom.
Yes.
They did when my
That's
granddaughter Aubrey's, and or Clary did. I was like, how pretentious is that, Clary? And she goes, Mom.
Boundaries.
Yeah, boundaries. Yeah, this is my kid. I'll do what I want.
That's funny. Well, I'm going to save us from the abyss right here.
Really?
You said
We're
something about passion too, and that raised a flag of awareness for me about going through rebirth and being able to find things that make you passionate. So I'm a teacher by kind of career trade, school teacher, and then for you, I've been a fitness teacher, instructor.
You're a natural too.
And that is where I do feel natural and that passion. And so to be able to, luckily enough for myself, choose to work and choose to work when I had children and have the support to do that and to continue, that I think really helped open up just my life and eyes, 2 different experiences, 2 different people, and allowed that daily joy to manifest,
right?
That we were speaking about earlier, that's so important in kind of empowering that fullness,
right,
of living a life as part of that rebirth. And I think along the way, we have a million different choices, and they're going to lead us down a million different paths, and all those old choices are okay. And if you are stuck, you can make a new one tomorrow.
Right. Can I just backtrack one second? Because there's a lot of people listening that you said you were allowed to work. There's a lot of people that have to work. And I want to just say that out there. We all realize they have to work. And again, they can find their passion.
Yeah.
Some people have to.
I'm not sure contextually how I meant that, but
no, exactly. But you're exactly right. Mm-hmm. I mean, you opened your own horizons gently. You don't do things in a real, I'm forceful. Doing this now. We're very opposite in that way. You're very gentle, and you do it almost seamlessly and quietly sometimes. And so therefore, when you come out with this whole new life, it's a shock to everyone.
It is. Well, and I'm not sure that was seamless and gentle, but I thought it know was another way to deal with it. I mean, this is just who I am. I'm sorry if you don't like it. We got to go.
Yeah. Moving forward.
We don't have to talk about it. It's good.
Moving forward. Right. Right. So anyway, I think that's what we wanted to sort of kind of
delve
get
into
with, because I think there's a general dissatisfaction with a lot of people in their life. And I think on a daily basis, dissatisfaction with, am I doing enough with my time today? If you're looking like I am out this window right now, these pretty camellias, you're doing enough with your time. I mean, if you're really observing and being a part of life and just being you, and it doesn't have to be positive, negative, just being you and resonating with your soul, you're doing what you need to do with your life. And maybe that very instant you're not, but if you keep resonating with who you are, you will be doing great things. For you.
Exactly.
And hopefully for others.
For others.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Here we go. 'Tis the season for the rebirth, for us to find out what it will take for you to become a geriatric Girl Scout.
Oh my God, I could do that. I could start a troop. I just want the outfit. Yeah. And I really don't even like the cookies. I used to. I mean, the Thin Men are good.
You could eat a sleeve.
But I'm like, first of all, y'all, if I was a Girl Scout, we'd change the whole cookie situation to some really healthy, good food. And we would turn the whole Girl Scout thing into serving the community for health. So maybe I should just start that.
Okay, you could be the health and wellness
I'm going
Girl
to keep
Scout
the green outfit, though. I
guide.
love the green outfit.
There we go. There we go.
All right. So are we good?
Well, on that note, I hope everybody goes out and finds a little way to bring some joy to your life, to others, and to think about questioning everything, to allowing our children and ourselves
Question
to
everything.
question.
Let's say that again. Question everything. Everything. Really. You just question everything. What's the harm in that? Never. And when you stop questioning, you stop growing. You stop being happy like I am.
I'm glad you are. Okay, we'll see you next time.
Thanks. Love you, Lee.
Love you.
Bye. Thanks for listening to us today, wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, you can now find our podcast on YouTube.
Yeah. If you liked it, please share, rate, and review. We love 5 stars. And we hope you'll work out with us online or in studio at Hilliard Studio Method.